Welcome back to the Bottom Shelf Project. I'm Richard.
I'm Kerry.
I'm John.
All right. And Kerry, I think we're going to have to let you do the intro because this is your bottle. So you brought
Indeed. Well, little story time. I got put off of
I know this story.
once upon a time. I got put off of brown water for a very, very long time, thanks to one of the gentlemen in this podcast, who at that time it was still legal for 18-year-olds to buy liquor in Florida.
Yeah.
So we got a 750 milliliter bottle and 2 4-packs of pre-mixed whiskey and Coke.
Yeah.
And he and I and one other friend, who I wish I could track down, but I never have, downed it all in a night.
Yeah, we killed it, the whole thing.
And it obliterated me. I mean, this is like Pan-Galactic Gargle Blaster level obliteration.
Good
I lived 3 houses down from the house we were at. And while I made it home, the friend that was helping me get home fell asleep in the bushes on the way back. So yeah, from that point forward, I don't think I had tried whiskey again for another 20 some odd years. So with that in mind, may I introduce you to Jim Beam?
Oh, we're living on the edge
now
today, boys.
This fine offering of Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey, and this is a proper bourbon. It's none of that crap like we had last week. This 750 milliliter bottle came in at $12. Now, 5 points from Gryffindor because it's in a plastic bottle. Nothing on it, nothing fancy. It's Beam. I mean, what else can you say?
Which is amazing.
It's Jim Beam.
We've gone, 42 of these now, and we haven't done Jim Beam?
Well, up until I got this bottle and cracked it open to share it with everyone, I had not had Beam again since that day. So long ago in our teenage years. So I can't say it's a virgin bottle because we open it up to share it amongst us in a socially responsible, upcycling kind of way. Yep. Pro tip, the Bottom Shelf Project definitely upcycles.
That's right.
At that time, I nosed it, and spoilers, it had a distinct wet dog smell at that time, as well as the typical, to me, peanut smell of bourbon. But
I don't recall us doing a fair nosing back in high school, though. Did we, Gary? Did we enjoy the heady bouquet and fragrance?
Yeah. That would be a no. That would be a no, because up until then, I think our drinking experience had been confined to Mad Dog and Hams. So
that is
pouring a little bit here for me in my rocks glass. And again, another sign of quality. It's not only a plastic bottle; it's got that aerator tip in the plastic bottle.
Well, fancy people like
God knows what it's for.
Fancy people aerate their wine, so it must be good.
AF. So
good AF, man.
Again, it's a proper bourbon, so it legally it can be called a bourbon because it adheres to the strict guidelines in the U.S. of at least 51% corn and aged for a specific amount of time in new oak barrels. And of course, it's one of the best-selling whiskeys in the U.S. Beam. Everybody knows Jim Beam.
Yeah.
So let's
if not number one, it's like 1 or 2. It's up there. It's really one of the most popular whiskeys.
Delve back into this thing and see if aeration, because it's been cracked open a little while, aerate a little bit, see if it's improved the intoxicating bouquet.
I'm picking up just a hint of 1985.
I can't say it was a fine year.
Oh,
man. I don't know. 1985 had some good stuff.
I wish Ghostbusters 1985. This would probably smell a lot better.
I mean,
you know what I smell? High school remorse. That's what I smell. I smell all the remorseful things that I did and regret up until this point in my life.
Regret and corn.
Yeah.
So on the first nosing, I picked up the peanuts that I typically expect out of a lot of corn whiskeys.
Yep.
Ethanol smell, but not as heavy.
No.
As some of the others that we've sampled before.
No, it doesn't. It also does not have the kerosene fumes that some of the other ones have had in the past either.
Yep. It's not offensive.
No.
Is it a warm hug? No. But it's not offensive, and I do get a little caramel out of it. No wood or anything like that, but it's simple, straightforward, plain. It pales in comparison to some of the other cheaper things I've had, like Mellocorn. But all in all, yeah, it's a bourbon. So let's sample this bad boy, see what it's like.
Well,
Dr. Tongue's 3D House of Bourbon. Mm-hmm. Cheers.
Oh, God, it's
more of the same. Roasted peanuts, a little bit of caramel, slightly sweet.
Yeah.
Right.
You see, thanks to my collective brain damage up to this point from blunt trauma, I really don't remember much about that night that put me off whiskey because of this stuff. So,
and I survived that night, fairly intact. I couldn't tell you why. We all drank about the same amount, and I crashed at our friend's house after he took Carrie home and then passed out in his bushes. I woke up in his house like, oh, what the hell's going on? Here's how Jim Beam almost ruined my whiskey life, though. It's a different kind of thing. Growing up in the South, whiskey was not, let's pour a dram and the whole bourbon Scotch experience. It was, let's be honest, you always put this on the rocks and add Coke. Gin and Coke, a 7 and 7, stuff like that. It's always highballs. It's always mixers. Always.
Yeah.
So for years, when people asked me if I liked whiskey, the first thing that popped in my mind was either Jim Beam or Jack Daniels, which I was kind of like, to me, it was a drink that like heavy metal heads and country music lovers, Daniels, and I couldn't care less. I just didn't care. Thankfully, though, I met people overseas who were really into whiskey culture and got me introduced to it. So coming around full circle to this, I'd still rather throw some rocks and some Coke on this. It's okay, but to me, it's not a sipper. Let's put
that's what strikes me. This is not a neat sipper. I mean, to be honest, I don't think we're going to find a bottom shelf bourbon that is much of a neat sipper. But it's not a neat sipper. It's a mixer, and this just screams for some Coke or ginger ale.
Yeah,
and some ice.
He has come prepared, my lord. Yeah, no, I don't have any. At least I don't think I've got any Coke. I might, but yeah, if I had some Coke, I'd put this on some rocks and splash some Coca-Cola in there, and it'd probably be doable for me. But,
I think that's exactly it, right? It's a workable offering, right?
Sure.
Like you can put it on Coke. You can put it to a punch or whatever you want. I mean, I don't know what you're going to do with this thing, but you're not going to sip it straight, and you're not.
No.
But you're not going to buy it with that in mind.
No.
I don't think anybody buys liquor in a plastic bottle with any of those concepts in mind. This is pretty simple, straightforward. I'm either going to drink it out of a brown paper bag, or I'm going to mix it with something.
Yeah.
10 years.
I mean, that being said, I took another sip and I tasted a little bit more of the wood. I mean, it's got some character there. It's very simple. It's very straightforward. It tastes like what it is. It's a $12 bottle of whiskey in a plastic bottle. Am I offended by it? No. I've had much worse. Oh yeah, we had much worse last time. That American Pride was just an affront to nature.
That was offensive. This isn't offensive.
No,
but it's
to me,
even as far
it's not good either.
No,
And I don't
Well,
even
I
think
tell
we
you
go
what,
so far as to say is it average? Does it come just
Like,
below average?
no, that's
no, I
exactly
would put this slightly
it.
below average.
That's what I was going to say is like if I like to think in like graphs, like there's the 0 point and then all the way up to +10 and all the way down to -10, something like that. So, we've touched some things down here and we've touched some things down there. Jim Beam to me would be the 0 point. It's not like really good. It's not really bad. It's just, it's the starting point from which everything else goes. Does that make sense?
Well, compared to the other things we've reviewed, yeah, I'd put it dead center.
Yeah,
Compared to
right.
everything in my experience, I'd put it
Yeah,
slightly below that. This is a common man's whiskey.
right.
It's simple, straightforward, inexpensive, and you can do a lot of stuff with it. Is it great? No, but compared to stuff like Budweiser, is it good? No, but you sell an awful lot of it. And a lot of people love it.
Right.
You know what? I can sum this up best in Dungeons and Dragons terminology. This is a potion of bad memories. That's all it is.
Drink it and take 1d6 psychic damage.
And what else do you not want to do with potions? You don't mix them.
You don't mix your potions. Except in this case, you need to mix it with a potion of Coke.
Yeah, I was pretty lucky that frankly, hearing these stories, people are probably wondering, why are they still friends with John? He destroyed their lives alcoholically and walked away, you callous bastard.
On the spectrum of stuff I've bought for the project, this doesn't hit the bottom to where as soon as we're done, I ended up pouring down a drain. It also does not hit the high point of the spectrum of stuff that was so good I saved it and still have on my bar as I ration it out.